Hey everybody, Erman Brady here with HorrOrigins. Thank you so much for tuning in. As you know, in the last month, we've been doing a lot of interviews where we spotlight the various filmmakers in horror. Today, we have Kelsey Bollig, horror filmmaker from Los Angeles. How are you doing today, Kelsey?
Fantastic. And yourself?
So good. Great. So good to have you here. I'm so glad to have you. I had a chance to speak with you prior to us recording. You have really good energy. I love your vibe. And I can talk to you about filmmaking all day long and what we like and what we don't like. But we do want to knock out this interview. So for the most trivial question ever, how'd you get started? How'd you get started in the film, but also why specifically horror? So I want to get all that.
Well, I was like a sick and twisted kid. So
Weren't we all? We were all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was Saw or Hostel first, but I was like done for after that. And at a pretty young age, I kind of decided I wanted to be, I'm so sorry if you can hear my cat just like scratching a wall over there, but
that was it sounded like a horror kind of like background noise there.
I know, she's just having, I don't even know what is going on, but yeah, at a pretty young age, I was 12 when I wrote my first feature film, and then I submitted it to the Shriekfest in Hollywood. I ended up winning like best under 18 screenplay, which was pretty cool. And I think getting that like positive feedback from that festival kind of let me know that this was a path that I could go down and be successful in. Mm-hmm. So I was obsessed with horror filmmaking from a very young age. And I honestly, like, I went to school for film. I went to CU Boulder, which is not a conventional film school. It's very experimental. And, you know, they don't really like narrative storytelling there, which was kind of like a fun way to learn. You learn on film. And then like your senior thesis film, you have a choice of going digital, which I did, but most people just like stuck with film, which is awesome. And then I moved out to California immediately, like 2 months after graduating. And I worked for an entertainment news company while writing scripts. And so I would like.
Do you mind saying what it is?
I worked at Fandom, but yeah, Fandom, I worked at Fandom, and then I wrote horror films at night. And I randomly, like, my friend from college came out here. She started a production company, and she ended up being the EP on one of my shorts, or two of my shorts. So we just started making short films because we didn't really know how else to get into the industry. I mean, there's no like how to be a film director, like that you can't, there's no clear path other than just directing movies, which is kind of like what I did. And then The Fourth Wall, my latest one, came out, and it ended up getting me, I'm like now repped by CAA and Grandview, and I, you know, like everything has come from that film, and that's how and when, and now I'm here.
Check this out. So check this out. From 12 years old, writing your first feature. I'm assuming it wasn't the best. You're proud of it, but it wasn't the best, right?
No, it's called Big Kids Play Manslaughter.
So from Big Kids Play Manslaughter to Fourth Wall, right?
Yeah.
What have you learned from your early days that has excelled you to where you are now?
I mean, I've learned a lot about, when I was younger, I don't think I fully understood like what horror was about really. I think I saw it as like a shock value art form that could scare the shit out of you. I'm so sorry, I just cussed.
Swear jar.
But as I grew up, I kind of understood and like realized that it was, you know, every horror film is making a political statement on something, whether it means to or not, on, you know, what is scaring our society at the time. And I ended up becoming really intrigued with elevated and different types of horror, and not just torture porn, which is what I was into as a kid. And that's what I started chasing as a filmmaker, was like that type of horror. But I also kind of learned that you should not chase trends. You should genuinely make what is in your heart, and don't let people tell you can't do something, because everybody's favorite thing to do is say no in this business. Like everyone. And it's not that people want you to fail. It's just like, asking anyone to work on anything, they're putting their career on some kind of like line. So
Yeah.
They're just protecting themselves, and I totally get it, but like, don't let that deter you from making
Right.
what's in here. So I think I learned that, and that's actually brought me the most success, because I'm not coming to people with like this idea to chase what's like cool. I'm trying to chase what the stories that only I can tell. And I think that brings you more success.
There you go. I kind of wish I saved that question for the last question, because that was like that's a beautiful ender. But no, so what are you working on now? Like what are the things that you want to talk about moving forward in your career? I know, of course, like there's no end date to your career, obviously, but like what type of stories do you want to share with the world moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a bunch of things. I am attached to 2 features that I did not write. They're both studio films, and I don't know what I can say about them other than they are horror. And then because those are all filming like, in a couple months, I need to be on set all the time. Otherwise I freak out. So I'm also making a short film about kind of my experiences. 2 years ago, I was run over by a car. And so I had this kind of idea where I wanted to write what happened to me when I was run over by a car, but in like a surrealist horror action type way.
Okay.
So that's what I'm currently working on. And then I have 2 features I wrote, which we're pitching. And so I have a lot of things, like a lot of coals on the fire right now. But yeah, like I think what I want to do is I want to stick with horror and then eventually make my way to action. Just because I'm in the mood to like watch badass women kick some ass, and I want to be like at the forefront of it. So that's what I'm working on and what I would like to continue doing in the future.
I'm rooting for you. I think we're all rooting for you. So that's stuff. I love hearing that. Then that you're going to expand in the future. So that's really cool. Before we go, where can folks find you on social media? Do you have an official site? Do you have social media you want to share? Twitter, Instagram, all that?
Yeah, I mean, my website's kelseybollig.com. My Instagram is Dreams Defy Logic, and same with. Yeah, I know. It's a whole thing. I can't change it because now people know that that's my Instagram handle. So Dreams Defy Logic, Twitter and Instagram. That's where you can find me.
Keep it. Please keep it for as long as you live. Kelsey, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for your time today. And I look forward to more of your projects and just getting to know you more.
Yes, thanks for having me on.
Of course. Take care.